Benny and Lily were two little mice who lived in the bustling city. They had a cozy little home under a big, metal dumpster, behind a fancy restaurant. Every day, they scurried around the alleyways and streets, looking for scraps of food to eat and things to explore. Benny loved the city's bright lights and the exciting sounds of cars honking and people talking. Lily enjoyed finding new smells and meeting other animals, like stray cats and pigeons. But even though they liked the city, they knew it could be a dangerous place. There were always big trucks rumbling by, and they had to be careful not to get stepped on by humans. One day, Benny almost got hit by a speeding bicycle. It was a close call, and it scared them both. "We can't keep living like this," Benny said to Lily. "It's too dangerous. I think we should go back to the countryside where we grew up." Lily thought about it for a moment, then nodded in agreement. "You're right, Benny. It's time to leave this city behind and find a safer, happier place to live." And so, the two mice made a big decision. They packed up all their belongings and set out on a new adventure, excited and a little bit scared about what was to come. They knew they would miss the city's bright lights and exciting sounds, but they were ready to trade it for a quieter, safer life in the countryside. Benny and Lily set out on their journey to the countryside. It was a long and tiring journey, and they had to be very careful as they crossed busy streets and dodged humans and their pets. But they were determined to find their way back to the place where they had grown up. They had heard that the countryside was full of fresh air, green fields, and sweet-smelling flowers, and they couldn't wait to see it all again. As they walked, they talked about all the things they missed about the countryside. Benny remembered how much he loved the fresh air and the feeling of the sun on his fur. Lily reminisced about running through the fields and exploring the woods. Finally, after what felt like forever, they saw the first signs of the countryside. There were trees and fields stretching out as far as they could see. They breathed in the fresh air and felt their hearts fill with hope and excitement. "Look, Benny," Lily exclaimed. "I can see our old home up ahead." Benny looked up and saw their old burrow nestled among the trees. It was just as they remembered it. Cozy and warm. They felt a sense of relief and happiness wash over them. "We're home," Benny said with a smile. "We made it." Lily nodded in agreement. "We did it, Benny. We're back where we belong." They settled into their old burrow and started exploring their surroundings. They found an abundance of food, from juicy berries to tasty nuts, and they even discovered a nearby stream where they could swim and play. They felt safe and free, knowing that they didn't have to worry about dodging humans or their pets. As they snuggled up in their cozy burrow that first night, they knew they had made the right decision to leave the city and come back to the countryside. They felt grateful to be back in the place where they belonged, surrounded by the things they loved most. Benny and Lily spent their days exploring the countryside, making new friends, and enjoying the simple pleasures of life. They were grateful to be back in a place where they didn't have to worry about the dangers of the city. One day, they met a family of rabbits who lived nearby. The rabbits were friendly and kind, and they welcomed Benny and Lily into their home with open arms. The rabbits showed them around the area and introduced them to some of the other animals in the area. They also shared some of their delicious food with the mice, and Benny and Lily were grateful for their kindness. As the days went by, Benny and Lily grew closer to their new rabbit friends. They would play together in the fields, share meals together, and tell stories late into the night. The rabbits showed them the beauty of the countryside, from the tall trees that swayed in the wind to the colorful flowers that bloomed in the fields. Benny and Lily felt grateful to have made such wonderful friends. One day, Benny and Lily decided to throw a party to thank their new rabbit friends for their kindness. They gathered up some berries and nuts and invited everyone to their burrow for a feast. The party was a great success. Everyone had a wonderful time, and they all felt grateful for the new friendships they had made. As the party came to an end and their new friends said their goodbyes, Benny and Lily felt a warm feeling in their hearts. They knew that they had made the right decision to leave the city and come back to the countryside. They were surrounded by kind and loving friends who made them feel at home, and they felt grateful for the simple pleasures of life that they had discovered. Benny and Lily had been living in the countryside for a while now, and they had discovered that life was much simpler than it was in the city. They didn't have to worry about rushing around or competing with other mice for food and shelter. They spent their days exploring the fields, swimming in the stream, and napping in the sun. They enjoyed the fresh air, the quiet surroundings, and the simple pleasures of life. One day, Benny and Lily were taking a walk when they saw a group of city mice scurrying around in a nearby alleyway. The city mice looked frantic and scared, and Benny and Lily couldn't help but feel grateful for the peace and safety of their own countryside home. As they walked back to their burrow, they talked about how much they had grown to appreciate the simplicity of life in the countryside. They didn't need fancy clothes, gadgets, or even a lot of food to be happy. They had each other and the beauty of nature around them. "We're lucky to be here," Benny said. "I never realized how much I was missing in the city until we came back to the countryside." Lily nodded in agreement. "Me too, Benny. Life is so much simpler here, and I love it." As they settled into their cozy burrow that night, they thought about all the things they were grateful for. They were grateful for the safety and peace of the countryside, the kindness of their new friends, and the simple pleasures of life. They fell asleep feeling content and happy, knowing that they had everything they needed right there in their little corner of the world. Benny and Lily had been living in the countryside for a while now, and they had learned to appreciate the simpler things in life. They had discovered that true happiness came from the warmth of the heart, not from the material things they had. One chilly morning, they woke up to find their burrow covered in a thick layer of snow. The countryside was blanketed in white, and everything looked so beautiful and peaceful. Benny and Lily knew that they had to find food to survive the winter, so they set out into the snow to search for berries and nuts. As they walked through the snow, they couldn't help but feel grateful for the warm fur on their bodies and the love they had for each other. When they returned to their burrow, they found that their rabbit friends had left them a basket of delicious food and a warm blanket. Benny and Lily were touched by their kindness and felt their hearts grow even warmer. As they enjoyed the food and snuggled up in the warm blanket, Benny and Lily felt a sense of joy and gratitude that they had never felt before. They realized that the warmth of their hearts was all they needed to feel happy and content. They spent the rest of the winter exploring the countryside, making new friends, and sharing their love with others. They learned that kindness and generosity were the keys to a warm heart, and they felt grateful for the lessons they had learned. When spring arrived, Benny and Lily knew that it was time to leave the countryside and return to the city. But this time, they were different. They had a new perspective on life, and they knew that they would always carry the warmth of the countryside in their hearts. As they said goodbye to their new friends and set off on their journey, they looked back at the countryside with a sense of longing and gratitude. They knew that they would always cherish the memories and lessons they had learned there, and they felt blessed to have experienced the joy of a warm heart.